Hello everybody and welcome back to Dignitas taking on Ents. We are ready to roll with map number 3, the decider between these two teams, and we started out on Overpass. Well, we'll finish it here because, as I said, it's the final map. My name is Mitch and with me is the beautiful Dean, and we'll be taking you through the final part of this series. Where already we see the pistol round go live, and Exist, pushed all the way up on long, is about to take contact with Alu. You just command this for a second as Exist. Oh, he's flanked out. Oh, Alu doesn't realize they've walked past each other. And Exist just heard some steps.
He must have, yeah, he's realized that, but I was going to say could cut off a player. Fortunately for X7's sake, he decides to take it in through connector instead, so they're actually going to reach this bomb site. Exist on his flank in is going to be a little bit too late to contribute to actually defending it. And as you can see, Halzerk's really the only one who has the position where he can fire off shots and actually have vision. So nothing to be done as the bomb gets planted. It ends up in a 5-on-5. Oh, Get Right does at least get that kill on towards X7. That gives them the chance now to start moving in and at least pincer in towards the bomb site. Oh, Sonny got dinked for 7 health somehow. Has a P250 holding for the push to come in. Low health on Get Right, somehow not finished off. 2-on-2 winnable position, but Ariel, he's able to come out on top of that kill in towards the spawn. I was going to say with that gives them the position to just play off, but the bomb wasn't planted for it, so you just see that final kill as well coming in as the fight was taken. And there it is, Ents picking up the opening pistol here on map number 3, one that was very much needed by them here. We said, of course, it's a pretty solid map for Dignitas, so ideally they do want to get themselves off to a good start on the T side, start building up a few rounds early on.
No, absolutely. This is where Ents need to have a good showing all the way through, because despite what we saw on Train, where they had the comeback towards the end of it, I don't feel like we're going to see the same from them. Certainly not as easily when it comes to Overpass. Dignitas early on losing Freiburg down towards the B site. And that one is going to sting a little bit. You see the Armor and Deagles in play for 3 players still and Exist doing it, making the Deagle play a little bit more squishy. Not got any armor to play with. But Ents are looking to finish down towards this B site where Dignitas do have all of their players. This could be a little bit dangerous as they push forward. Get Right taking opening contact but not winning the duel. Forrest is doing it for him though. Getting a second shot connected. Sees them coming up on site. Has to reload and he's being hunted down but nothing he could do there. Looking for a weapon but couldn't find one, and 2-0 for Ents. Losing a lot of players though.
Yeah, a lot closer than they would have hoped for. Forrest putting up a good effort. As you said, he was absolutely screwed. Then once he got peeked on both sides of the pit, he was trying to B-hop his way around the ramp so he could get into a position to cover his back off and just fight the one man. But being just sprayed down by 2 MAC-10s, the tagging even just stopping him from being able to move. He was pretty much stuck in spot. But yeah, I mean, considering they were able to get a couple of kills in that round at least, they brought it down to only 2 players surviving on the side of Ents. I don't think Dignitas are going to be too upset. Not really being able to afford much into this round. There's the 1 Deagle on Forrest because he got a couple of kills that allows him to go ahead and bite it up. Get Right as a P250, they have 1 flash. Other than that though, not much to work with, and as there's no one really aggressive around mid here for them to actually find off the back of that flash, I'm not really expecting it to amount to very much now. We should see Ents have a good opportunity of actually taking this round cleanly, which is definitely what they want. And having 3 SMGs, ideally you want those MAC-10s to be finding the frags. One thing they have found so far though is that B bomb site, and a couple of kills there for Sergey as well.
Pistol's hopefully going to catch someone else off as they move on forward. They'd like to get themselves the kills. The P250 for Get Right, the Deagle for Forrest. They're tucked up in towards heaven, but Sonny is isolating them one at a time, jumping around, dodging Forrest's kill shots anyways, but losing a lot of his health. He's down to just 9. Player spot. Wow, Halzerk wins that fight. Get Right might even catch one more as they go to exit, but they've spotted him at this point. If Alu didn't go down to check for a second player there's a chance that one of the ones on site would have ran up there thinking he was safe. Could have been a free kill.
Yeah, losing the 1 player, not too big of a deal for them. Although having so many SMGs in that previous round obviously means if they wanted to upgrade those, they do have to put a bit of reinvestment in. So, I mean, they have gone for that, I think, through one of them away. They have obviously 1 retained here on X7, so he'll have an opportunity to maybe still get some openings with that. You can see he definitely is in the front of the pack. I was having a look to see how many helmets were available, and Dig realized the SMGs in that previous round were retained on some of the players at least, so they have gone for helmets pretty much across the board, bar 1 player. But Sonny, he's gone ahead and found himself a quick opening kill. I believe there was a challenge here around B Water, and not really working out for Dignitas immediately. It was actually in towards Monster. That must have been a spam through the smoke. I was wondering how that happened. Yeah, had a smoke... was crossing over, rather. Had a smoke down, I believe. Just got spammed through. A bit unfortunate on the timing. Owen Forrest could be the next victim. Actually spams it in return to do some serious damage. And does at least finish off Sunny before going down. Oh, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anywhere near enough, really, for them to hold this bomb site. Despite having Exist and Freiburg in position, neither of them finding success. Ariel comes in with a double on the Galil.
Yeah, Halzerk doesn't look like he's in the best of positions, really, does he? Not only is he in trouble, but from in front, but from behind, as Sergey is being boosted up into heaven, as we just saw, and he completely catches him off guard. AWP not being retrieved. It's not wanting to work with one here on Overpass, evidently. They've got plenty of cash if they did want to buy one up a little bit later on. But knowing that they're most likely not up against a full buy coming into this one, yeah, picking up that up probably would have been a little bit of a waste of time, or just an added risk. Dignitas could maybe catch him off guard, take the kill. That's a better rifle for them to save, right? You even see the players that have to reinvest taking Mac 10s.
Makes sense in this round, obviously, knowing they're up against at most a half buy. There could be a good few players with Kevlar, but overall, definitely one of the weaker investments from Dig. So they're looking, I guess, to try and build up the bank and make up for the fact that they did in the early round at least lose quite a few players. Overall, their anti-ecos here in their last couple rounds have been quite clean. A 1-for-1 trade there as they go out on towards middle, so that's not ideal. But obviously not going to be giving any weapons away with it, so they still have a pretty firm 4-on-4 at this point. Sunny, though, is very aggressive in Monster. This is a dangerous spot to be peeking. There is 2 players there, so yeah, he goes down. Forrest nearly had a chance for the second. X7 wanted to retrieve that AK, and Exist, haven't actually pushed around through long, finds the back of Alu. Suddenly it's a 3-on-2, with also one of those players being under half health for Ents. This round has gotten a lot scarier than it ever should have been.
Now they've got to push right on into the players on the B side, a little bit blind. The flank coming down from Exist. If Freiburg can just buy them a little bit of time, this could work out for them, but as he falls, now they're free to look elsewhere. Still worried about taking the bomb site itself, but it's only a matter of seconds before they start to think about the flank. Checking water, checking heaven, CT, nothing there, and eventually, yeah, they come down to watch it, but Exist wins the duel. X7 on literally 2 HP. And the step hurt on short. Exist knows what's going on. He knows where he is. No idea about his health. He moves on forward. No kid in play. Obviously, this was such a weak buy. They didn't even need one. Or they didn't think they needed one. Gonna have to go and stick this in a second. He heard the step on short, right? He must have suspected that maybe he ran out. And at this point, has to be worried about Monster as well. The time is so low.
He needed to start running right there if he wanted a chance of living with this AK, which would have been a good recovery. I mean, as you said, they invested like nothing into this round. So saving an AK over, having gotten 4 kills as well is a big result. Tries to get as far away as he can by sliding up the wall, but it doesn't work out. Without the Kevlar, there was no way he was surviving there, so I was a little worried. I was like, hang on, can he actually survive? Because I was initially thinking no. And yeah, turns out that was the answer in the end as well. Realized he couldn't make it anywhere else, so he had to kind of try his luck and see if going up the wall would maybe allow him to survive. But 5-0 for Ents. Overall, that round being way too close for their liking. It gives Dignitas obviously a good chance to try and bounce back in now, having kept the economy in an only okay spot for Ents. They have 1 buy in the reserve. But if they had taken that previous round cleanly, then they would have had a lot more. So it could potentially help them, but obviously they need to capitalize and actually start picking up some rounds now. Otherwise, it's not really going to be that big of a deal.
The time is now the time to strike. Strike both in taking rounds and strike fear into the hearts of your opponents. But Ents at the moment, they're not looking scared. They've got the freedom. Economically, they're standing tall. And certainly in terms of movement, they're pretty free. But Ariel gets lit down. That's at least a good start for them coming into this. Dignitas with a man advantage. Sunny looks to move through this smoke. The timing could be poor for Exist as he looked to move up close to toilets and possibly into it. Could have been pushed in the back, but now watching for this actively. The flash through, the swing, but he actually focused on the wrong player. Halzerk took down Sergey, but Exist was spraying the lifeless corpse of him. Still, though, Halzerk manages to trade with a 3rd kill in the round. now has Alu to contend with on long, who's slowly making his way towards him as X7 reclaims the control towards toilets. He is a little bit worried about someone coming through connector, or not even worried so much as hoping that a player would come up behind that he could catch off guard, but that doesn't come through. Alu misses the shot. The spray is good to start it off, but Freiburg can't finish him. And now things get a little bit dangerous. Alu keeps on answering with the op. They've got the site and they can go for a plant.
No, this is really swung around. There is still a bit of utility here for Get Right. Moving in from short. Forrest just holding the angle, actually spots the head of X7. And with Alu being so low, yeah, not really much he could do. He's trying to get in aggressive towards Bank to give himself a position to post up at the op and have a chance to maybe pick one off. And of course, at that point, try and play the time on the bomb. But no, the flank was a little bit too quick for him. Taking some time to retrieve anything they can as well. Obviously saving over the op. A few nades being carried over, but overall, a couple of drops do have to come in here. Freiburg is going to have to be given a weapon, as does... We swapped into the overview cam so I couldn't see Halzerk. Yeah, Halzerk needed to be dropped over the op, of course. So pretty much invest in everything just to be able to buy again in this round. So Dignitas, they need to ensure that they're able to go ahead and get this round as well. Otherwise, they're just going to be left in the next round again, looking at maybe just some pistols and such. Obviously, not something they can afford to happen at this point. Already being down 5-1. Ents are making this third map look a little bit too easy for my liking so far, but I mean, that's a sign of life. Let's see if Dignitas can continue with it.
A sign of life, but life support more so. Winning that round out was not a as clean cut as it needed to be, or as it looked to be. Their economy is on its last legs, and Ents, they haven't been very forgiving so far, not offering Dignitas a lot of opportunities past the start of the previous round. Exist, good spray down, getting a second done as well, and he sees the third player. Good damage, 50 connected, and with X7 falling, Dignitas, well, they're in a 2v4 again. Surely this time, Alu's not going to be finding any 2 to 3Ks and bomb plants.
You would hope not, for the sake of Dig. They need to definitely confirm they can close this one out cleaner than the previous, if they really want a chance to start building up their own economy. Obviously, winning this one does put Ents in a spot where two of their players wouldn't really be able to invest in the next round. That is a little bit awkward. Okay, Get Right peeks in towards Monster now that the smoke is gone. Alu does have the opportunity to go ahead and give them an opening. That flash not going where it was intended to. Would have been perfect as well. It would have blinded Halzerk. They had another. And there you go. Forces him back off the angle. Alu posts up, gets himself the kill. Suddenly it's a 2-on-2. What is happening? Not again, Mitch. Oh, going to go for the boost. They were able to salvage the situation in the last round. Can they do it once again? Yeah, and that boost from Forrest at least gets one and tags down Sunny. Oh, and the nade is perfect.
Good stuff from Dignitas, winning the round, but that is about the only positive note again. It's just grabbing themselves access into a round they shouldn't be. With such heavy advantages, can you just imagine how this round is going if they don't have a 2-for-1 opening duel going their way? This is the problem for Dignitas. It seems heavily involved on them finding those early fights. If they lose one, well, honestly, I'm not in the camp that believes that their recovery on losing opening duels is going to be there. Certainly, they haven't shown us anything to suggest that so far. Ents call a tactical pause to even further sort of extend their advantage. And remember, they're on 5 rounds. This is a map that we came into talking about how Dignitas looked like the favored team on it. Not by a lot, but just by a smidge. When we came into the best of 3, we said map 1, Dignitas should win cleanly. Map 2, it should be Ents as well. We expected a third map, but a better performance from Dignitas on the second map than Ents on the first. And then number 3, it's a mid-ground with slight favor to Dignitas. Well, so far, that's been very much missing. You can give Ents a 3-0 start. You lose the pistol, you lose the force. Of course, you're going to concede that third, and it shouldn't affect the game too much. The only thing that it does affect is you getting a grasp on your economy. It makes it that little bit harder. Much better for the CT side to be winning those pistols. But then when you come into round number 4, round number 5, and you're getting advantages, things look good, and you allow the other team back into it. And then even in the rounds you're winning, the same thing. That's not what we want to be seeing at all.
No, as you said, it worries you for if they aren't able to get that kill in the beginning of the round and give themselves a little bit of a comfortable lead to play off of. Right now, though, Exist is very aggressive. In towards Playground, Ents at this point, I would imagine, have absolutely zero idea that this is even a possibility, so it's definitely a little bit scary for them. Exists certainly has the possibility to go ahead and try and catch someone off guard. And I mean, if he goes in towards the B side of things, he would potentially find that player with the bomb. Obviously, wouldn't really be able to hold it then in the spawn on his own unless his teammates also get aggressive through Monster. But GetRight has actually found Sunny up close on that smoke instead. Sergey goes down as eventually that flank will be able to pounce, and now there's only one player left in that position. Do they fight it together to take the bomb is the question. It looks like they kind of want to, because GetRight has pushed out. Surprisingly on his own, because Exist has fallen away, but he still gets the kill. X7 not really expecting it, being more worried about Exist on the flank instead.
Here's this shot for Halzerk to leave Alu all by his lonesome, looking to retrieve the bomb, and he lands his shot, but GetRight unfortunately survives. Fortunately for Ents, as they're stuck down on 5 rounds, Dignitas, they start to rally back up a little bit, and surviving with so many players does finally give them a little bit of a grip on that CT side money. AWP in play for Halzerk. There's no massive reinvestment. Had they even have lost that, it would have been handy for Ents, but after the pause, it's one of the flattest rounds we've seen of the T side so far, but they're not the ones with the pressure on their back. I mean, so long as they can find one more round, they'll be looking pretty decent. Now they're going to try something different, a fast B rush to make use of the pistols. And clearing out barrels leaves GetRight to land at least his first kill. The rest of them on their way down here, and Freiberg and himself are all that's needed, in fact, finding all 5 kills, and look at that money go. The bankroll is certainly getting fat.
Yeah, and in this case, that's a really good thing for them. I mean, not fantastic considering Ents are still back onto the buy here. They do have enough for at least one in the reserve, which was something they were always really out of reach of over those past few rounds, just because of the fact that there was the damage being consistently done. But having taken 2 in a row now, as you said, with 5 surviving, does finally give them some sort of financial security. But they need to keep this up, because with Ents already on 5, their goal is really to try and grind out another 2 to 3 rounds here on the T side, and at that point they start feeling quite comfortable. Against Dignitas, I don't know. I think Dig will have a really strong T side themselves, so ideally they may want a little bit more. But that definitely could be permitted, because we have actually seen X7 go ahead and pick up the opening kill here for Ents, catching a peek in, believe, Monster, in towards Monster, I believe it was. GetRight being the man who falls early, and Exist quickly being dropped there as well up towards the A side of the map. They tried to flash in, I believe, and it didn't work out for them.
Significant control towards that A site. You're seeing Freiberg start to rotate up. Halzerk is left on an island by himself, surrounded by T's. They could come down through a number of angles after him. The only thing that's sure now is towards his back is clear, but he has to be worried about Connector alongside of Toilets, and indeed that straight peak coming out from the worst party in the middle. Good return by Freiberg at least, but in a 2v4, so much is needed. Inside the smoke, he hopes to sneak past them, but instead he's right in front of them as it fades. And Forrest left alone, spotted out behind. Well, he at least got the kill for it. But a 1v3 not looking all too likely. With the bomb not planted, though, his shift walking down towards this B site could give him a little bit of a chance. Had they have went down to B, it would have been perfect to catch them off. But I think as time ticks on, in the next 10 seconds or so, he obviously can't step. They would suspect him to be coming from behind, especially as Alu goes down and clears through Toilets. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just play for exits, but even at that, with Alu's position, he's unlikely to find anything, as Ents know they're clear to exit through short within the next couple of seconds. Never mind all that, they just kill him.
That's the issue. I mean, Dig had taken 4 rounds in a row. They only dropped this one here now, but despite having enough for a buy to come back in, the fact that they were down 5-0 at one point means Ents bounce back with 1. Suddenly they already have 6 on the T side, which is a decent scoreline to end on. Obviously not what Ents want to after going up 5-0 at one point. They want a good bit more than that to really feel happy about it. But they've given themselves now a fantastic opportunity. If Ents get this round, at that point, Dig looking at an eco, we probably see 8 for them. So it's a kind of must-win round at this point for Dig. They need to bounce back immediately. And looking for some aggression. You've seen one player around bathrooms, but it's mostly Halzerk who's pushed in towards Connector. And I think Sergey realizing that that is a possibility, knowing that they are going to be up against the full buy once again, not really going to be given any opportunities early on in this round. They have been very aggressive. That's one thing we do need to know. Even in that previous round, GetRight went down peeking through Monster early. Halzerk gets his head ripped off. I don't even think he knew he could be spotted right there. Had to start backing down because of the flash that came in. This is not looking good.
Without that bomb retrieved, though, there's no telling where Ents move towards, and Dignitas actually trying the same old trick with Exist up close. In fact, both teams going in for the same thing. Freiburg flashed off the corner, but he's actually able to stick around thanks to turning away in time. Exist takes down Ariel, and they know there's a player close. They're jumping over the ops bullet. Alu's missing the shot. You will see Ents converge towards the B bomb site. That molly's sure to slow them down. In fact, he didn't have a smoke down in time to stop it, and eventually, although they get one short, it doesn't actually even quench it properly. Sergey on to... Oh, that was close, but Alu missed the shot! It leaves them to continue to fight on. Exist on the flank down through connector, lands himself a kill, and look at the HP, 6 and 7. He just needs to hit one bullet onto each, and they'll be taken down. Moves into the bomb site quite quickly, flashes behind him, spray good, sees the player on the right and can't quite land the shot yet. They're so low, but he's low in ammo now, but, well, he had enough. Only one bullet needed to the shin. And 6 to 5. Dignitas just about manage it. But again, another very close round. And with Ents already on 6, these are not the wins we need to see. Dignitas have to be consistently connecting them. And that doesn't look like a very repeatable round, does it, Dean?
No, it's all about Ents grinding out these rounds. And if it comes down to that position another few times, Ents are going to be winning. Some of them, at least, you would imagine. So they cannot allow that to happen. They need to take these a little bit more convincingly. Off the back of that one, the economy isn't fantastic for Ents, to be fair. As you can see, Galil being forced out into X7's hands. Ariel currently has a Glock. He does have 400. Is there a weapon on the ground for him? I'm going to swap over. Yeah, there's actually an AK there. So really the only weakness is that Galil that's in play. And then, again, if you look at the economy for Dig, they have an MP9 as well. So both teams not having a perfect buy. So we're just going to see yet again another scrappy round that is so important for both of them, specifically Dig. And this time we see the pace actually being taken up a little bit by Ents, or rather a lot, because they go straight out Monster, which is not something we've seen them really attempt before, at least not in recent memory. Freiburg only good for one with the MP9. Forrest elsewhere is able to get himself a kill, but as you can see, while Alu's still lurking, he's able to trade back once again, so it is now a 2-on-1. Okay, Halter, I think just before that smoke bloomed, was able to get that one. Took a lot of damage in the process of doing so. And now Alu having rotated back around, both players are in a position to work with each other at least.
Alzer's got the op though, so if he can isolate them, once that smoke dissipates, he could be in with a winning formula. Time ticks away, player swings out wide, good shot, and he's down below. Now he just needs to find the other, and he can't get it in time. Alu already scoped in, and he takes the frag to bring it on to 7 for Ents. Great scoreline for them. As we said, anything from 6 forward was a bonus. And they're not done yet. Dignitas, look at that cash. Can you see it? Because I can't. There's basically none. And that means Ents should be connecting themselves in 8th. With players double eco, they make the understandable decision, yeah, to take that force buy, which then puts them on an eco in the next round, which means Ents look at, presumably, a 9 to 5 scoreline.
They have kept a small bit of money, which could give them a chance to buy up a few pistols again in the next round, or else just not really spend anything in it, and instead in the one afterwards give themselves as strong of a buy as they possibly can. With these pistols, though, they've got a good bit of control over on the A side of the map. Unfortunately, that's not where Ents are looking to actually take that bomb. They've already walked over to B, which wasn't initially realized by Get Right. Essentially, he gets spammed down quite heavily, and indeed realizes that a lot of commitment has come in at this point. The bomb now beginning to be planted, and the ability here for X7 as well to start building up some economy for himself and kind of Ents in general up against these players that only have the pistols. He does have the Mac 10. And he may find the Exist soon enough if he wraps around behind Bank.
Well, there'll be no surprises from Dignitas in this round, hence, with all 5 players still alive and Forrest desperately trying to clutch this back by finding a rifle if they do hunt him. But considering what they've seen so far, they know that everybody has got pistols. There's no real worry for they don't mind letting Forrest survive. You know, at most it's going to be a Deagle, maybe an SMG that's carried through. Such a strong terrorist side so far. Their B takes have been surprisingly effective as well, even against those weaker buys from Dignitas, which is where they're generally more intimidating, pushing into those closer range angles. Now we see just the eco through from the defense. And they're definitely looking to make B a bit more intimidating. All 5 players down here to start this one out. But then spread into a default, so they're not going to be full committing, knowing that this time, after the force in the previous, should be a full eco. X7 goes in to spot out what's going down. He's going to land himself a double, not the triple. When he stole that one away.
Eventually.
But not with the Mac 10. The only sad part.
Still there. It's not a bad. It's not a bad number anyway to obtain for sure. 1,500 boost in economy. There's still a chance though for Forrest to take some of that money away. And now that he did actually get 2 kills, I would say he probably neutralized the fact that X7 was able to pick up a couple with the Mac 10. Obviously, reinvestment has to come in now. But Ents still have a very solid economy. And I mean, with it being in this position, with it being the final round of the half now, unfortunately not being able to actually limit the buy in this round means obviously it doesn't matter. They had plenty of money to get back into whatever they needed. Dig, on the other hand, a little bit of a limitation yet again on the buy that they have in play. Halzerk isn't able to get Kevlar. Nades-wise, only has a flash to work with. Obviously, that can be helpful if he wants to play a little bit more aggressive, but without the Kevlar as well, he does have to be cautious of any nades coming in the beginning. So you don't really see it being taken towards mid. Instead, just posted up on long. And again, Ents mostly focusing on the B side of the map in the beginning, at least to get themselves that control. Trying to return to spam, not quite working out. To get himself a kill towards Monster. There's actually a push out from Forest. I'm presuming a flash was thrown over. I unfortunately turned off the observer cam. I was controlling it myself for a sec. I didn't expect that to happen.
It's a hell of a start for Ents now. You see Dignitas having their 3-man B hold, but Halzerk isn't pushed up aggressively on A, so not able to find any early information if they do decide to rotate up there. And with the bomb and top connector, that certainly seems like it's going to be a possibility. They eliminate Sunny to at least drag something back, but look at the HP left on Get Right after that engagement. As the T's start to make their way out towards this A site, Dignitas making a very early call to bring Exist up, by the looks of it, Get Right too. And I presume Freiburg's going to stay on the angle. Halzerk with 1, can't get out alive. Exist tucked in the corner. Now the full rotate is on its way. But yeah, as Exist gets taken down, Get Right's all alone on 1 health. Freiburg comes up to Dumpster, but he's also 50, and this should be Ents walking up double digits. Dean, what a half this has been on the offense on what should be a neutral ground.
It's been absolutely fantastic from them. This round is pretty much done, as you said. Freiburg is on 45 health, being quite low, and he's actually the healthier. Yeah, he's definitely the healthier of the two. I'm trying to move forward. That flash was perfect. Okay, X7 able to pop out and finish off the half. 10-5. Ents managed to actually come out with a really strong scoreline. They went up, what, 4-0 in the beginning. 5-0, sorry, and we ended up seeing 4 in a row for Dig, and we didn't really see anything apart from 1 then stray round again from Dig. So Ents just resumed their control once they got the guns going again, and we're going to see if they can continue that, of course, moving into the second half. But first, guys, we are going to send it over to a quick break.
Holding on for life, feet in the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get off you. Day to day you wanna stay out, you're chasing the night, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the night, chasing the night, chasing the night.
Seems like I can't get a ray from the hot sun. Always night and never day. Even when I wash the floor, the dust still comes. Keep on hunting for the bread. No matter how lost, need no light, no spark. I'm a light mode. With my eyes closed, I can see in the dark. I'm a quiet storm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Half number 2 going live, 10-5, and Ents coming in on their CD side with a hell of a lead and starting it out with aggression down in connector. Exist taken out immediately, and Halzer, he's trapped in a corner. They just hunt him down, and although the B side is being overrun as we speak, there's going to be a very quick rotate through short.
Yeah, very quick indeed. I mean, Forrest is able to at least make his way over to the CT spawn and start bringing that bomb up towards A, where he should be able to at least get the plant. Yeah, no one's going to hunt them quickly, so indeed, he will be able to get that little boost of economy into the next round for Dig, which of course can give them rifles even if they lose on a couple players. But at that point, it's going to be 11-5, so he's going to try and have to pull off this 1-on-4, which is not going to be easy. As soon as he's spotted, especially, gets the first kill on Sergey, but now he still has 3 to deal with. X7 actually having a defuse kit, trying to stick the bomb. Had been tagged low, but fortunately his teammates come in to save the day.
Well, there you go, 11-5. Now, as we look into this, with Dignitas getting a bomb plant, they can get an investment. They can force buy in. And that means it's not the end of the road. Right? Losing the pistol doesn't necessarily mean there's a nail in your coffin. You can answer back in that second round, but a deagle for Forest? Well, all of a sudden it looks like maybe we're not going to see that, because I would expect armor and an AK to make an appearance already, and it hasn't. So they're going to take a lighter investment right now, and then go in for full AKs afterwards. Take those fights without the op. Evidently, with the investment they've made, Forest would need to keep over his cash. On the T side, that's definitely still going to be workable, especially in the early game. Alu with a good opening duel. So for Ents, with the fact that their opponents have decided to take sort of an eco, but just a little bit of a bonus with extra, a little bit of extra hardware, that's the word. We're probably going to need to see Ents surviving with pretty much all players, at most losing one of SMGs, and that would be ideally even after he found a couple of kills to farm that money back up. The aggressive position from Sunny makes me very worried because of the volatile position their economy's in. But look, I was going to say, luckily they lost one player in mid, but they're all starting to group up. Alu's already down. I think they know Sunny was here. He threw a nade, but I don't think they've made the read. So that should... Oh, he shot off too early. That's great. Dignitas have already done their job. They've killed 2. And with low HP on X7, this round could actually go their way.
In theory. Get Right also being fairly tagged up, and now Freiburg being actually finished off there by X7, the man who was low, still taking himself the 3rd kill before he does eventually fall away. And no, actually he doesn't. He continues to aggress, I believe. Yeah, no, he's the man who's fell back around. There's someone else who's aggressed up on mid at this point. That was Sergey. So he was looking to try and get the flank on. Wasn't quite given the time to. X7 actually decided he just wants a quad kill instead. So there it is. We see Ents being able to get their 12th round. As you said, though, a couple of kills is not a bad result at all there for Dig. Coming out now onto the full buy, they'll be able to start fighting back into this one. But it does require them picking up this open and gun round. Otherwise, we're looking at very likely 14-5. And although we see Dignitas pulling off an absolutely ridiculous comeback over on Nuke, being down 14-7 and managing to win 16-14, I don't know how likely it is that they'd be able to pull off a similar clutch here again on Overpass. Even more difficult at that point.
Oh, the nade damage early on. Sergey and Alu completely lit up going in for the mid control. Hasn't quite paid off as they'd hoped. In fact, I mean, they'd probably want to make their way over and start sending themselves the weapons to Sunny if they can. Oh, Ariel gets them up close. They run through the smoke straight into his UMP. And after such a good start with the damage done, that's not how you wanted it to go. They shut down Sunny on the flank, but that's not much of a payoff, even with the low HP. They've still got the bomb. That's at least one upside for them, Dean. This has been a pretty tragic mid-round anyways for Dignitas.
I mean, with 3 players tagged up, it's not like we can count them completely out of the round. They do still have just over 50 seconds to actually get a move on. and definitely favoring on towards B. I think at the moment we're really hoping that someone is going to decide to get a bit more aggressive around water, maybe forget right to find someone, but not really going to happen. It's not needed for Ents having themselves into the 4-on-3. I guess with the lower health, they might have wanted to have got a bit of info about what's exactly going to happen. They'll have a pretty solid setup on this side of the map with all 4 players in position, including the boost in the back, and not even really letting them move forward before they pounce. The first man moving out through Monster actually had the bomb, so he gets taken down, and then it's just one more from Monster, one from Short. Easy enough for them to focus those fights together and easily close it out. Yeah, keeping 3 alive. 13-5. Dig, as I said, no bomb plant coming in, so they definitely have to take the eco and just concede over 14.
The big problem for Dignitas in that position. Even though Ariel, Alu, Sergey were all low, X7 was lit a little bit as well. He'd been tickled in the early round. Problem was they could play crossfires and just wait and force those 2 versus 1 fights. Doesn't matter if they're both low, if they can both hit you at the same time. Are they only going to get one of them down? The spray, having the spray transfer over then obviously causes problems. 13-5. With this, Dignitas are going to come in with the light buy that we see. Not investing fully, but still giving themselves a chance. And, oh, this is getting dangerous in bathrooms. Molotov's going down to keep them back because they realize that we do not want to get tsunamied by pistols. Alu really wants to peek long, but he just can't without the toilets under control. Here comes the execute.
He still has a position for info. Actually, will eventually swing wide and hits the collateral. Halzerk survives it, but not going to be able to do much more as he moves forward. Sunny was also focused on the angle. So yeah, that push coming in through Short. The nade is fantastic as well. Freiburg barely hanging on to life after it, making it an easy finish. Didn't really matter when it's Alu who takes him out with the op either way. Even adds another to his kills there, but it being 3 overall in the round. So good work shutting down that half buy there that Dignitas had in play. But now they're coming back onto the full buy. Obviously, this is pretty much do or die at this point. And they realize that. They've called in for the tactical pause. It's their first pause. That's surprising to me. I didn't even realize that they hadn't been calling them. Going into that previous gun round probably would have been a good point.
Ents called 1, right? Maybe 2. We haven't a lot on Overpass compared to the other maps as well. And in such a high caliber series being so far behind too. Yeah, you would have imagined Dignitas would have wanted to get themselves together at some point. This is it. This is where they've chosen to collect themselves. Halzerk's got an AWP to start this out, and I'm wondering where we're going to be deploying that one. Haven't seen it on the T side so far from Dignitas. They haven't had an opportunity to pull it out, really. As we roll on into the round, Ents 14 on the board. No money for Dignitas if they lose this one. Just their loss bonus, pretty much. This has got to be the round that Dignitas make the comeback happen. The nade stack doesn't do anything. Not even a tickle to the CT side. Exists, though. He was good at holding connector on the CT, but on the offense, just the 1 kill found, and then he's traded out. Even still, putting them into a more decent position. 1-for-1 trades often favor that terrorist side. You can see Alu is pushed up on long with the AWP. Sergey clears out towards Fountain and finds Halzerk with his pants down. An embarrassing situation for sure, as they now go down a player. And Sergey repositions to look to catch them coming up through Con. The close range angle being held as Alu, it would be behind them. Another frag for Sergey, his 3rd kill. And Alu's got a quick flank as well. This is going to be devastating. Oh. He's going to catch them lining up these smokes. No, they're on their way back down Con, but that bomb is in the open. Hello, and goodbye to the chances of Dignitas winning this round.
And with that, very likely the map. Oh, Gerrit doesn't have enough of the body exposed to actually take the shot right now. He knows even if he hit 1 to the body at that point, Alu would just step back and still be alive. So he is going to eventually move forward and give himself the headshot alongside that. So, I mean, a 1-on-2. It's not completely out of the question right now for Gerrit, but it's been made a lot more difficult than it was looking just a few moments ago. Like 7 up close on long is just not expected. Gerrit taken down as he comes around the corner. Map and serious point now being found for Ents. Dignitas just haven't got going at all here on Overpass. As we said, there was a streak of 4 rounds at one point. It was actually a moment where they got all 5 rounds out of 6. We've seen them get 4, they lost 1, got 1 more, and since then haven't got anything.
For a decider map, this is not the Dignitas we were hoping to see. I mean, Ents are walking away with it, strolling out of here into the sunset with all the loot that Dignitas wanted. Looks like they don't just need Yampy to win. They can do it with this lineup as well. Sergey opening it up again. The grim situation just becomes even worse.
Got something in my eye somehow, Mitch. Apologies.
A good lad.
I was struggling a little bit there. I think it was my eyelash, and it's still been a bit of a nuisance, but not as much as I'm sure Digger and I know, but the fact that they haven't really got going here on map number 3 after what was an exciting series up to this point for sure. Halzerk has returned 1 kill at least there in this round to give them a fighting chance to try and bring this one back, potentially get going with a few rounds. But they're still outnumbered. The real positive just being that Sergey is low at least, so perhaps that could help them out when they move forward eventually. Smokes on towards that A bomb site, but a third player now has been rotated up as well.
So got a 3-man hold on this A side, as you're saying, but Sunny started to back off for a second, moving down towards B, maybe suspecting this to be a fake. As they move forward, they're going to realize, well, that's not the case. Sergey tucked in the corner, not able to catch them off guard anymore, and Sunny whiffs the shots. It's all down to Ariel, a 1v3 that he's got to catch, and the bomb not planted, but Halzerk takes the head clean off him to close it out, and finally put Dignitas on the board. As, Halzerk came up on our screen. I was going to show the round history, but that's all right. We'll look at his beautiful face instead. 4 kills in that round. I guess he deserves it. There we go. Now we can look at the round history. Been a while since Dignitas won a round, hasn't it?
Yeah, as I had said, they had gotten the 4 rounds, lost 1 and gotten 1 more. So that was when they had got those 5 rounds up until now. That was the only kind of segment of the game where they had any sort of control. And yeah, I mean, as I said, falling kind of flat here on map number 3. Getting out that round, managing to pull it back despite having a poor start as well. But they still need 9 more rounds to send it into overtime. You do have to feel like it's kind of inevitable Ents will get 1 round, but who knows? It's CS. Things can be crazy every now and again. We already seen one mad comeback from Dignitas, or at least seen most of it.
Yeah, 9 rounds in a row. I mean, maybe you'll give out to me, but I'm not a believer in that one. Alu backs off. He's got an angle on this as they come around the corner. The flash wasn't actually for him, but it still made him fall back, thinking it might bounce off the wall and come back. He's giving up Toilet's control, and look who's isolated out there on long. Just going to swap over to Sergey. And yeah, he's not having an easy time at all, is he? As soon as Alu loses Toilet control there, he has to fall back, but there was a player close, so he couldn't. And yeah, it's GG'd in that position, really.
Bit of a predicament for sure. Alu wants to see if he can regress and find abilities for the work, but actually doesn't connect on Forest as he swings out. Expecting the peak to be a little bit further back, if anything. With that now, Sunny with the Deagle left here alongside Ariel to try and hold it down. The smokes in place should give room for the bomb to be planted. The spam not quite coming in, so yeah, indeed, it is going to be put in place. And now I would imagine that they may just consider backing away with these weapons. Okay, Sunny has gotten one up close on the bomb site. That could potentially be an AK even for them to use.
If they can get around to it, it is for short. Just like the plant, the molly going in towards the toilets, but Exist head peeking up. Oh, he's being taken down. This is risky. They're defusing the bomb at the moment. Sunny goes out to take the kill, but it's a 2 versus 1. Nobody on the bomb. They know that as he spams away. Deagle out, finds the kill. Time is low. And Get Right facing. I mean, as soon as they know he's not on the bomb, I'm surprised to see they continue trying to take those fights. They scared me. But luckily, it works out for Dignitas, and they get 1 step closer to making this amazing comeback come into reality. But it is still 8 rounds, and even with an eco right here, you are talking about a minimum of 3, probably 4 full buys, strong full buys for Ents before they're faced with an overtime. And they'll feel no pressure to close this one out quickly, considering they know, worst case scenario, it's OT.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter whether they win 16-14 or 16-7 in the long run. Either way, they do get the victory in the series. Obviously, you want to close out as convincingly as possible, because if you're cutting it close, at that point, you are given the opportunity. But what you were saying, of course, is they have at least a good few gun rounds to try and close it out. So they won't be worrying quite yet. This round, not expecting a lot of themselves. If they can even get a few kills, then it's definitely worthwhile. And considering they currently have a stack going on around long and mid, there is certainly the opportunity for these pistols to maybe catch a few players. 4 of them being Deagles, the head of Sergey being spotted now. they might try and follow up from long with that. Yeah, realizing that they could potentially catch the back. There is, though, another player posted up watching for that aggression, being Forrest, and he's able to deal with that pretty easily. One kill comes in the midst of all the chaos there for Alu, but that was it. So nothing really too crazy. Dig obviously in a position where all they need to do is ensure that they're always in a spot where they have the money to buy for the current round, because if they lose one, obviously it is over.
Well, exactly. They're not worried about future-proofing that economy. All they're worried about is taking heads. And so far, they've been doing it. Winning a couple of rounds in a row now. We're looking for 7 more. It's the full buy from Ents in the next round that's going to be the real issue. Right now, you're imagining Dignitas walk away with a pretty free one. Although they are checking the price lists on long. A couple ice creams. Ents are probably not doing a whole bunch. I've got a little bit of money left to invest if they want to get a little vanilla cone. What's your favorite kind of ice cream, Dean? I mean, we explored a lot in Budapest.
I don't know. I just like ice cream. I don't eat it that often, if I'm being honest, but
It was mainly me exploring them. I remember walking into McDonald's with like a half a foot tall ice cream. A gigantic cone.
You tend to go mad in some places when you
It was
see how
€2.
cheap food can be.
It was €2 for like the biggest ice cream cone you've ever seen in your life. Kinder Bueno, cookie dough, all that sort of stuff, all in one. Oh man,
Mitch's dreams. That's actually what he has dreamed about.
I put on so much weight over there. It was unreal. We're only there for a week.
It's just pistols right now, though. Ents, obviously, so we're not expecting much, but again, having a bit of a stack going on, there is always the chance that they can overwhelm a couple of players. Normally shouldn't affect the outcome as long as the stack is going to realize before they're all in a position where they can't fall back after realizing. So, yeah, as you can see, the bomb goes down. There was no kills even coming in. Holzer got dinked. That was it. He fell away. Forrest could be overrunning connector, but nah, never mind. Gets 2. Yeah, looked like he should have had that kill on Alu as well. Spray wasn't quite on. The AK picked up, but I doubt it's going to last in his hands too long.
Never asked what my favorite kind of ice cream was, Dean. I'm kind of hurt, to be honest.
What is your favorite kind of ice cream? I presumed your answer would have just been anything.
Not that fat. Kinder Bueno, mate. Kinder Bueno ice cream it hits the spot. It's beautiful. Or cookie dough. I don't know. I don't know, Dean. I want them all now. Why have you done this to me? Why would you even ask that?
Can't stop talking about food, Mitch.
I guess we have to, though, because we're coming into a buy round. So now we can actually focus up. Previous one plays out as expected when they've got nothing to work with. But now that Ents have got rifles, they've got an op out on Alu. He's not even had the glass cannon. The man's got a bit of utility. This is where Dignitas face their biggest challenge yet, and they look to move in towards that B-bomb site. The jump from Sunny, he didn't manage to make it on top of the head in time, and when he jumped up, Halzerk takes his head off. They know where X7 is. They've got the information on Ariel, who only gets the 1 kill. The B side is lost, and it's a save from Ents. As quickly as it begins, it ends. And that's underwhelming, to say the least. Really nice openings by Dignitas, though, coming in through water, checking for the boost up. Just a shame that Sunny was so late getting up on top.
I mean, it's starting to look a lot more achievable as Dig have now actually put themselves in a spot where double digits is confirmed. Sergey and Alu left to save. With the loss bonus getting going, they do have the full loss bonus now at this point. They could scrape together a buy with Sunny being able to actually purchase for himself, and obviously if Alu and Sergey do both survive, being able to drop weapons over. But this is starting to get a little bit too close for comfort, I do have to say. Get right spots the up and towards playground. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about that, though. There is a player around mid that he doesn't expect, so he ends up going down. Again, not an issue for Dig. They were just trying to see if they could take those weapons, because they did know if they were able to even drop one of them, it would stop Ents from being able to buy in this round. Actually just gone for the half investment behind them anyway. Understandable. They have a good lead. There's no need to force the issue. If they of course give themselves a good chance here with what they've invested, and ensure either way that into the next round they're going to have everything they need.
That's it. It's a mixed bag. Still gives them some chance for a fight. And you can see that they're not going for any active aggression as we've seen from them in the past. This is a much more passive play. Again, the triple nade stack doesn't do a whole bunch for Dignitas. It's always landing a little bit above the wall. Could do a lot if they were boosting up. So the only time that we've seen Ents do the boost, Dignitas have walked out and just domed them. Not actually pre-nading it. The only danger in this kind of situation is if Ents end up making a read on where things are going down and Dignitas take the round super slow, time can become a huge factor. It forces you to play much faster, much looser Counter-Strike to get into a bomb site and get that bomb down. So they do need to start pushing forward and claiming some map control. Now, you might think Alu's back is open, but it's actually being covered by Sergey, who we see here. He spots the jump boost, but has to stick around this area. He can't afford to completely negate that angle, or Alu has to come top connector. He finds one, but doesn't know about the player up close. Oh, but he doesn't get the trade! Exist! That was his frag, but Alu now still sticking around, looking to punish even more players, but Forrest on the wide swing takes him down. With Get Right having short control and a player spotted on the A site, they presume rotates will come through and start to move down towards B. They've even thrown a smoke onto the A site, but X7 with a deagle in hand. It's a 4v2. This is ridiculous. X7 in with another, and Halzerk a 1v4 to try and close this out or keep themselves alive, and they just can't do it. Dignitas, they've lost to the mix by